Hey, what's up, family and friends? I wanted to bring you this week's version of the vlog. And this week, we're gonna talk about what it means to put a value on your finish line. So last weekend, my beautiful wife and I decided that we were going to run the Air Force Half Marathon. Well, actually, we didn't decide last weekend, we decided months before, but the end of the day, what we decided to do is that we were gonna try to do this run and do the Air Force Half Marathon together. That was the goal. As a matter of fact, her goal was to finish, and my goal was to stay with her. And so throughout the course of our training and preparing, we quickly realized that while we're different runners, our goals were both very achievable. So race day comes, we get out there super early, we go with some wonderful friends of ours, and we get out there and begin to run our race. Now, if you've ever run a race before, you know that it's always really crowded in the beginning, and sometimes peer pressure will have you moving out faster than you really want to go. And eventually you get into a rhythm. And during that rhythm, we began to run our race. But here's the problem. When I'm out there running my race, I can look around and I see all these other people begin to pass me or move past me or move faster or running their race. And all of a sudden, I fall into the comparison trap, right? Where I begin to compare my race to their race. And immediately I start to add or subtract value to what I'm doing, right? Comparison kills value. Comparison kills value. So I'm out there running my race and I think we're somewhere along mile 5 and all of a sudden we begin to see this person come up on our left, and they were coming up on our left and they pass us, and it was a blind runner who was being led by an amputee. A blind runner who's being led by an amputee. First of all, I was like blown away by just the incredible courage and fortitude of those two individuals. And then second of all, I began to question, how am I getting passed by a blind runner with an amputee? Right, and I don't know about you, but when I get myself into those moments, I quickly find that I begin to play this head trap kind of head game with myself. And I begin to question everything. Is this really what I should be doing? Am I even a runner at all? Is this really what on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And my brain works 1,000 miles a minute, especially when I'm out there running and I've got all this time to think, because we're just breathing and running, and every once in a while we're talking to each other, but we're just breathing and running. And then I remembered something really important. Only I get to decide the value of my finish line. Only I get to decide the value of my finish line, right? Because at the end of the day, my goal was to run with my wife. That was my finish line. It wasn't actually the half marathon. It wasn't actually the time. It wasn't actually any of those physical things. And it certainly wasn't to be like anyone else, right? The value of my finish line is a value that I get to decide. And I think what happens to a lot of us is that we get out there in the world and we begin to start to look at what other people are doing and how they're doing it. We start to compare ourselves, and comparison kills value. What value does it kill? It kills the value of your goals, right? It kills the value of what you think is important. It kills the value of your why. So only you get to decide the value of your finish line. Only you get to decide why you're running or why you're doing a particular action. Only you get to decide how important it really is. So I know that sounds simplistic, maybe even a little bit cliche, but I want to leave you with 3 practical tips if you find yourself in the comparison trap. The first thing I want you to do is, when you find yourself in the comparison trap, is I want you to think about your why. Why are you doing it? Why is it important? What's your big vision? What's your long-term goal? What's the value added? The second thing I want you to do is I want you to turn to someone who's there to support you. Not someone you don't know, not someone who is in a different way of life than you are. I want you to turn to someone who can support you. For me, during my race, it was looking at my wife, seeing her running next to me. That was a reminder of my why. Right, and that support person is gonna know you better than somebody who's just running alongside you in life, someone who's out there in the community. And the third thing I want you to do is to spend time talking to God. Right, on the race, throughout the run, when I lose focus, the most important thing that I could do is call out to God, right? And running is a great time of prayer for me, so I always use that as an opportunity to connect. So whenever the comparison trap crops up for you, I want you to remember three things. The first thing is remember the why. The second thing is turn to someone who's there to support you. And the third thing is cry out to God. Talk to God about what you're doing. He wants to be engaged in the process. Only you get to decide the value of your finish line. Praying for you, keep on running. By the way, we finished!